Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to Successful Stylist Academy podcast. I'm Drea Letcher, and I am honored to be your host. I'm the Artistic Education Director for Successful Stylist Academy, and I am so excited to have Matt Beckner joining us with Chronos Beauty tonight.
Hi, Joe. I'm here. Thank you. It's always so fun to talk to you and dive into the beauty world and to see what's going on. How have you been?
I've been really good. I've been busy, but like really grateful. And thank you for saying that, and thank you for being here. I really enjoy talking with you and just how your brain works. So I'm super excited to talk a little bit about you and a little bit or a lot of it about Chronos Beauty.
Sounds great. Likewise.
They say that there is nothing new under the sun, and I'm really excited for our listeners because Chronos Beauty is, I mean, my brain kind of doesn't work in the way of like how something like this was even thought of and, came about because it really is innovative. So I'm really excited to dive into that with you. But before we do that, if you would be so kind just to share like a little bit about yourself, like where your story began, how you got your start, and then how you landed in the beauty industry.
Yes, the story. So I'm kind of like lovingly called the tech guy inside Chronos Beauty. So I've been in telecoms and built my first app company like a decade ago. We actually built an app for BlackBerry. If you can imagine, that's how early we were. That people were still using Blackberries. So I've been in tech for like the last 15 years, and kind of after my first company decided I wanted to be kind of full-time digital nomad. So really, pre-pandemic by years was like, no office, let's go totally remote. I want to travel. And so I've kind of been the digital nomad tech guy for, the past 10 or 15 years. And yeah, I'd been following artificial intelligence for a while. And one day I was just thinking, scheduling an appointment, I was like, this is something that a robot would do way better. So we got in contact with a college friend of mine, was married to a high school friend, Becca, who I think you've talked to. And she's a hairstylist. So I just sat her down. And I was like, here's the idea. What do you think about a digital scheduling assistant that handles all your reminders and scheduling and cancellation? She's like, can such a thing even exist? And I was like, if you want it, I'll build it, but let's, tell me what you think. And so she was super excited. And from that moment, I got the deep dive into the beauty world and processing times and the difference between color and balayage. And I have totally embraced the beauty world. I love how supportive everyone is and how willing to share their knowledge they are. So it's been, for me, coming from the tech side, just like a really pleasant surprise to be involved with so many magical, talented, entrepreneurial people. So that's kind of how I ended up in the beauty part of the world.
So many things. I mean, build it and they will use it. I think as you probably were talking, your mind was blown, her mind was blown, like because there's so many layers to like what we do and how things are scheduled, and that's probably not something that you were totally aware of on your end. And then just the fact that a digital AI assistant can come alongside us and help take care of like a big portion of our business, which is not most of our favorite thing to do, is awesome, but then also mind blown. And what name did you use? Digital nomad. It sounded very glamorous. Can you say that again?
Yeah, a digital nomad. That's the new term. Uh, and, and it was funny because when I first started, so many friends were like, "How are you doing this?" And I was like, "The internet." I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you're all I'm everywhere.
Exactly. I am where I am, and if there's internet, I'm connected.
Very cool. So that's like originally just like how you got started, how you got into it. So that kind of leads into my second question for you, because the idea and the concept for Chronos Beauty, I was going to say, where did it come from? And you already touched base on that. So take it like a little step further. I mean, you go, you talk to your friend, she helps you start developing it. Like what happened next? I mean, there had to be a lot of trial and error in that in the beginning.
For sure. So I'll kind of split this into two parts. Like the conceptual part, like even before I went and talked to Becca, my mind was like, what's a really big luxury, right? Like, what do all of the people who have like way too much money and fame have? They all have scheduling assistants because the reality is it's stressful. And I was thinking, you can build a robot to do this, to schedule your time. That was kind of my thought there, which is like this is a luxury which like most people, even in a salon, if you hire the person you've hired, you want them to be doing lots of other things besides scheduling. So wouldn't it be great if we could create like a cost-effective automated version of this? And to your point about the trial and error, this is my favorite story with Becca. So like we literally thought we were going to go live. Becca's told all her clients, and I'm looking at her calendar and I see all of these gaps for the same appointment. And I'm like, Becca, what is this? And she's like, oh, those are processing times. I was like, those are what? What's a processing time? So we didn't launch. And I went back to the developers and was like, okay, there's this thing called processing time that we need to teach the robot about. And then it's been kind of growing that community. We're a group of what we collectively call the Fab Five, which are five stylists who all kind of have a different approach to their business. And we spend, an hour every month just talking to them, trying to figure out how we can make, the life of a stylist easier, save them time, and, make them more money or protect them. So we're really driven by the stylist. The fun part for me is like, okay, how do we build that? How do we make that work? Uh, but the fulfillment for me is that we're trying to solve, problems for people who I've grown to really care about.
I love that. And I mean, and that's where like I feel like you are really getting it. Like because I mean, you have like this amazing brain that I don't understand. And but being a stylist, sometimes I feel like things are trying to be created, or any companies within the hair business that are not completely backed by hairdressers. Sometimes there's like a little bit of a miss in there, like processing times. Those are good things to be aware of. So I think this Fab Five is really brilliant. Having five hairdressers where like everything that you guys are developing is coming from like this is how we schedule, this is working, this is not what's working. So I think that's really great for our audience and our listeners to hear right now that everything that you're developing is based upon the demand and problem solution for the hairstylist. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's been tons of fun. It's like I look forward to Ambrosia. Obviously, I talk to often. She's always a joy. Up and early, Pacific Coast time, full of energy. Gotta love that.
I know that we're talking about like a little bit about Chronos, or we're talking about Chronos Beauty, but I really, really want to spell it out for our audience. And I'm doing this because I know that there's more people like me out there that suffer from hairdresser ADD, and they try to log into something and they're like, it's so easy, just go onto here and then just do this. And then, and like the first second, like your computer is like laughing at you or something crazy is happening with your phone. So Chronos Beauty is an AI assistant that is going to come on and do your booking for you through a number that your clients can text. And I know I'm missing some things in there. So I want you to kind of take it away from there. But it's so great because nobody wants to call anymore. Nobody wants to get a phone call. Most of the time you call people and they have a business and their voice mailbox is full. And this is like the norm and we're okay with it now. So the fact that you can text, and this is not only an AI assistant that's going to help take care of one of your biggest pain in the ass parts of your business for you, but they're going to do it in the way that everyone prefers right now, and then even more so. So I'm going to let you kind of pick up from there as far as like what is it?
That was great. And I totally understand that. I mean, that's AI super new. Learning to that you can talk to machines. I mean, this is all new stuff. It's fun, right? I think, but people have to get familiar and comfortable with that. One of the things I've noticed about stylists, and I think it's one of the reasons that the Fab Five are so successful, is that you all care deeply about your clients and you want your clients to have a great experience. Maybe sometimes you cross too many of your own boundaries to make them happy. Especially on the messaging, right? You deserve vacations. You deserve to not be responding late at night. Uh, and so we were really built around the client, right? So, how is it for a client? No one wants to call anymore, like you said, or to log in and remember some password or download some special app. This is just a phone number that they can text, 24/7 to schedule whatever service that they need to schedule. And like you said, since we were designed around stylists, we allow for that each client can have a customized time for their services, like you would tell a personal assistant, because that's kind of the idea behind this. And then, of course, with scheduling, you have the reminders. What's totally different with Chronos is that your client can text back to a reminder to reschedule. And if you've put a cancellation policy in, Kronos will handle, telling them that they're going to have to pay to cancel last minute and charge them and let you know that they've been charged. And then on top of that, it will try to fill from your cancellation lists anyone who cancels. So the idea is, it's not a perfect assistant yet. Kronos is still young and learning, but that Kronos would behave how it would behave if you had a personal assistant that was scheduling for you full time. Just it's a robot now.
These are all really, I mean, really amazing things that I'm hearing because as hairstylists, and I'm sure as you've been working with us more, we're really like emotional, touchy feely, personal like beings. That's kind of a general like in our craft. And I feel like this is like really new. It's like one of those things where it does make it challenging because we're so hands on with our clients. But this is the part of our business that's rough because not that many of us are good at it. We don't really love it. So, how great to not tell my client, like me, have to be the one to say, I need to charge you because you're canceling. And they can text anytime they want, but we still get to execute those healthy boundaries that some of us have a little bit of a challenge doing. So, that just continues to move me into those feature and benefits. So you already are talking about some of the feature and benefits within Chronos and cancellation list. So how does that work?
Right. So when either you can schedule the client yourself, just logging in through your phone, or you can even text in to Chronos and tell Chronos to schedule someone for you, or your clients can text in to schedule themselves. In any of those cases, they can ask to join the waitlist, or you can put them on the waitlist. And then the way the waitlist works is, first come, first serve. Whoever you're on in the order that you join. And so anything that opens that's before your appointment, the first person on the list gets messaged. If they don't respond within 15 minutes, it moves to the next person on the list, and so on until someone takes it. And then, of course, whoever took the appointment, their spot is now open. So Kronos will continue to try to move clients forward until it's worked through your wait list.
Okay. I mean, that's crazy. Did you guys hear that? So now when we have a minute, we don't have to decide if we want to eat, pee, call our kid, or make up a message that we can put on Instagram that says opening at such and such a time. Our AI assistant will take care of it for us. So, very, very cool feature.
Yeah, that was one of the fun ones with Becca right from the beginning, because she was saying it's just too much time. I mean, exactly what you said. She's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna run an errand, or I'll eat lunch today, or maybe I'll actually go to the bathroom. Because for her, so she'll get a notification, so and so canceled, and then 5 minutes later she gets another message, so and so moved their appointment forward, right? Like this all happens just real time because it's automated. So that's been a really fun feature. It doesn't happen often because all of our stylists are amazing and their clients are always afraid to cancel. But when it does happen, Chronos is very good at filling that spot.
Awesome. So, now I know that our audience is getting excited with us and catching on. So let's keep talking about like how the Chronos Beauty features turn like immediately into benefits for hairstylists.
Right. So, kind of the whole purpose behind Chronos is to save time and help you make more money. So, the saving time part is, on average, our stylists tell us they save around 10 to 15 hours of not having to respond to messages for scheduling. And this isn't about you no longer talking to your clients, it's about changing how many messages and also what are you talking about. Are you chatting with your client because it's all the touchy feely stuff, or is it back and forth for 3 days to schedule, a missed appointment? So you should feel that benefit of saving time immediately. They've also make more money, not only because of the ability to fill the last minute cancellations, but also protecting them from cancellations and no shows. So by putting in a policy that's going to be automated and actually implemented for you, in the rare case that somebody no shows or you had a last minute cancellation that can't get filled, Kronos is keeping that money in your pocket. Um, this is, the ultimately the benefit, right? Is that someone's working to maximize your time and to keep money. That is ultimately, it's your time. People forget about this, and it's nice for Kronos to be there in the middle. And you get the reminders. If you cancel later, don't show, then it's a lot nicer for the robot to take care of that conversation than for the stylist. That's for sure.
Absolutely. None of us like having that conversation and just kind of that awkward confrontation. We just get to have more of like the enjoyable conversations with our clients and let Chronos Beauty just take care of that for us. So, um and just working in a more efficient way. And it's not even however many hours we spend scheduling people or rescheduling people or having these conversations. I feel like the greatest part is it splits up our whole day and our whole week, and we don't have to deal with that at all. So whether or not we're like trying to get in a workout or trying to spend family time or trying to do nothing, like we don't have to constantly be clocked in.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time Becca went on vacation. This was just like a few months in, and she like sent me a message, just like, "Oh my god, it was so amazing! I was able to be on vacation, and Kronos would just text me whenever somebody scheduled, and no one was messaging my private Instagram. I had a full vacation." And I think now she's so used to it, and her clients are so used to it that they've just gotten to the point where everything just kind of runs smoothly, which is what you want with your scheduling software, because you don't have time to be trying to constantly be changing your scheduling system or constantly be telling clients, no, we do it this way now. So I'm really proud that like all of the Fab Five, everyone who started with us is still with us. It's been over a year now. With Becca, she's been using Kronos for over 3 years. So I feel like we're really, honing in on what makes life easier for the stylist while keeping the client happy and easily scheduling away.
You said, that Becca's really used to it, her clients are used to it. And with that said, in all honesty, there's a little bit of fear behind it. There has to be a shift. There is a little bit of that time of getting used to it, wrapping your head around it, having your clients get used to it, explaining it to them. So, if you wouldn't mind being a little bit transparent with us, what do you feel has been like the biggest challenge for new users coming on? And how do you guys, I know you were like, we can do a white glove for you. So, some really cool stuff of the like because of the things that are going to be time consuming to make that shift. On the front side of things. So, what are some of the biggest challenges for stylists and new users coming on board with you guys? And what are some of the things that you do to set them up for success, as I know that you do?
Well, coming from the success masters, right? I take that as a huge compliment. Um, So let's start with the stylist first because it all starts with, the whole system's got to be put in place. I think, as you said, a lot of stylists have ADD or just other things they'd rather be doing than moving. Just logging. We all know logging into software is stressful. Remembering your password is stressful. We totally get that. So, Jared, who's also one of the founders, gives our white glove service, which just helps a new stylist get completely set up, get all their appointments moved over, and to feel like they're being taken care of because you are taking care of your clients all day long. We understand that. We don't want to put more burden on you. We want you to feel that you're coming somewhere to be taken care of. So, the easiest way to do that is to make sure you get everything set up in the least stressful way possible. Um, and then for the clients, I think one is just with anyone, like you said, there's just change, right? People have to get used to however the way that they were doing it. To your point, everyone's so used to texting and it's just a text number that they have to put into their phone. I would say that's probably the biggest challenge for the client is sometimes they forget to save the contact and then they're like, "Oh, what's that number?" And they need to look for the number again. So that's where a stylist can typically we encourage them to give kind of just a one-on-one with each client, new client as they come in as they transition, to just explain to them what the system is and here's the number, save the contact, you can text whenever. Uh, so I think yeah, that's probably and saving a contact from a number is not the hardest thing to do in the world. But sometimes people need to be reminded, and I think also not everyone's the same. So I think stylists they kind of already know who that client or two is who might have some issues with it. And there we say, you can schedule for whoever yourself. Like this, they don't, their clients don't have to text in to schedule. You're free to schedule them while they're in the chair yourself. Cater to. No one knows their clients like a stylist. I mean, they're all your, they all view you as their best friend, right? They're telling you everything. Um, so yeah, I think that communication, the stylists are very good at it once they feel like the system's up and ready. I hope I answered that question.
You did. No, you did. I just didn't want to cut you off. No, that is great advice. And I know you already mentioned, Becca got like a real vacation, but I feel like, in all fairness, since I was asking you what the biggest challenge was, and you completely answered that, thank you. On the flip side, I mean, what are some of the other biggest success stories that you've had and been able to enjoy through your process and positive impacts that you've been able to witness? With stylists coming on board with you guys and not having to do that part of their business.
Oh yeah, that's been fun. So to give you a couple different stories from the Fab Five. So Sarah, who I think you might know, Beauty Marked by Sarah. She called us. Jared and I was like, listen, some people are canceling, and I had some no shows, and I need to change this. So we just hopped on the phone with her and helped her decide what her cancellation policy would be because you can totally customize it and she wasn't sure. Everybody kind of like you almost tend to want to be too generous, but this is the point to really set the rules that in a way that's fair. And then within that first week she had like a new client no show and she just went right into Chronos and marked a no show and got paid money. And that was, let's be honest, over $100. These services are expensive that she wouldn't have had. She would have had to just swallow that, but Kronos was there to protect her. And that new client, they agreed to, Kronos made it very clear, here's what you're agreeing to, give us your credit card. So that was fun to see Kronos standing up for and protecting a stylist from the thing that's like really the worst. That was fun. I think Carly, who's been on forever, she is like the power user and she texts. And so she doesn't even log in or have to log into her calendar to schedule someone. If she's there at the chair, she'll just text Kronos and be like, schedule this person. And I feel like that's so modern and so what I had in mind. Um, we're still obviously AI super new, and it's going to take time for everyone to come along. So I love when you see, the power user. I think is just so much fun to me to see how, stylists use the product.
We're in an industry of change, and so I feel like even as hairdressers, being in an industry of change, we love it, but we're also creatures of habit. And I don't know how many of us would admit that, but being a hairstylist now for over 20 years, I feel like um what a cool thing to adapt and be rolling with, not only for ourselves but just to continue evolving as things evolve, as technology evolves, as our industry evolves. Just being a part of that movement, I think, is really, really important. I think it supports what our industry stands for, and Chronos Beauty is just another opportunity for us to do that, really. And as you were talking, I was thinking, yes, like yes, 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 that for like all of us that have been doing hair for a while. But I mean, if you're listening in and you are a new stylist and you are ground floor building the foundation for your business, what a perfect way to do that. Like, you just develop it however you want, and that's what your clients know. That's where you start. That's like where your foundation is. And I just think that would be, I mean, I'm a little jealous, kind of, but I really think that, new stylists, this would be such a great thing for them to just really capitalize on and immediately add it to their strategy of like their ground floor, like business model and business plan.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you're always thinking how to help others, and especially the new people getting started. I feel like this is like almost every industry could learn from the beauty industry on how to like support growth in others. So
Thank you for that. I love our industry, and the people in it are pretty special. So I have to agree with you on that. Um so now I want to like, now it's getting like a little mushy. We might as well, like, good spot to get like a little personal, because being an entrepreneur, I mean, is just not for the faint of heart. And I feel like that you are an innovative entrepreneur, and it really does, it takes a toll sometimes. It's a sacrifice. So, two-part question here. And the first one being, how, like, what have some of those sacrifices been, possibly? Like, how do you balance your personal life from your business life? We talked about our healthy boundaries, but yeah, yours got to have to come in somewhere too. So, what does that look like for you, Matt?
I think, and this is probably typical of a lot of tech entrepreneurs, I don't like to feel like I'm working. I want to feel like I'm playing. And if I'm playing and I have that emotion, then things are going in the right direction. If I suddenly feel like it's all become work, then I'm immediately like, hold on, what just happened? I was having fun. And I try to keep it that way. And part of that is like we were talking about the Fab Five, just really engaging in a way that's like really meaningful with the people who are ultimately engaged with you as an entrepreneur, whether you're building a hostel property or a salon or a tech company. Just connecting with those people and feeling like your purpose matters in their lives, even if it's partly in the future, right? Because we know technology is always evolving, and it's like this is great, but it'll be perfect when, right? And everyone's free to join when it's right for them, right? uh, and so I really try to keep that feeling, whether it's marketing or it's product, or with the exception of accounting and taxes, that's pretty hard to make fun. Those are the hours that I definitely feel like I'm working. Uh, but yeah, to keep that healthy balance for me, that was a big change from my first company. And part of the reasons why I said, the second time, going back, doing another tech startup, it was really important to me to maintain my freedom. I like to travel, I like to explore new places, and I wanted to have a company that would allow me to do that and not for me to feel like the company was sacrificing something or I was sacrificing something, that the balance worked. Um, I do think the pandemic in some way made people a little bit more comfortable with virtual connections, what I think has been interesting. Um, Not to say good or bad, just more people are a little bit more accustomed to it. But those are small things. Like I've really worked hard to learn to be able to work from my phone more so that I can be in a park or a beach or somewhere that fills me with like good energy while I'm still being, productive. um, I definitely feel like I took way more sacrifices in my first company, often for speed while sacrificing purpose. And so I went into this, after taking a few year break to just travel the world, I wanted to come back in and be a lot more intentional, um, and really, not make unnecessary sacrifices for some goal that I have put down on a piece of paper. Because, the journey is, if you're an entrepreneur, there is no guarantee of success. Absolutely not. And as a tech entrepreneur, you're accepting that you might have to make many products before you make one that really sticks and that resonates with people. So accepting that, failure is not something I can stop, right? It's a possibility. Best I can do is is enjoy the process and do everything in my power to try to make it successful. But if I'm making all these sacrifices for success that I can't guarantee, then it does start to feel like work. And I think I'm a lot more conscious of it this time around. I have no idea if that made any sense at all.
No, it was beautiful. I mean, I hope all of the other creators and innovators and entrepreneurs were kind of listening in on that because it really sounds like that you found a way to do it on your own terms, and you talked about being intentional and purpose, and you know, doing it on your own terms, but still giving other people what they need, and that's where some of the satisfaction comes in. And I really admire you for that, Matt, because I even remember our first conversation, and you were like, you said, if this is going to help you and this is going to make your life easier, I want you to come on board. But if it's not, then that's not what I want for you. And you meant it. And I remember that. And so yeah, I'm all about that. I mean, if you can ground your feet in the sand, or you can be in nature and still doing work that's not work. And I mean, even in the beauty industry, we say if you love what you're doing, you're not going to feel like you worked one day in your life. And not that you're not going to be exhausted by the end of that day, but exhausted maybe physically, not exhausted in spirit. So thank you for going there with me. I love that. I love that you said hostel. I had to just like do a whole entire develop a business for school, and I developed a hybrid hostel outside the Yosemite Valley area. And I was like, so now should I quit everything and just do this?
By the way, are the second person to mention that to me, like within the last month, although you've gone way farther, but like I think people have realized the importance of space and environment and creative people. And let's be honest, you are super creative and like talented in so many ways. But yeah, I think it's interesting. And we all want to have a bit more of a fulfilling space, that has some harmony to ourselves, right? Like, I'm definitely not trying to sell my life to anyone else.
But finding that balance is really really important, and I think that we've been kind of lied to by culture for a really long time, and just splitting ourselves into pieces, like compartmentalize yourself, and business is separate from politics, is separate from religion, is separate from your personal life, is separate from your home. And it's like we're one person and we are just splitting ourselves into so many pieces. And I don't know if we found that that was serving us. And I think that this is a much better way, the way that you're talking about. So that's beautiful. And I know we're getting off topic, but I know that some of you guys are feeling it. So, sorry, not sorry. Uh, to kind of wrap this all up, one, I have to ask for our audience if there's any special offers that we can find with Chronos Beauty. And also, where do we find you? How do people get signed up? I can repeat some of these questions. And And then we're going to want to know what's next because I know you told me that there's new things being developed. So if there's any little things you can share after sharing any offers, where we can find you and how we get signed up, then I would love that.
So, yes, you can find us at chronosbeauty.ai to learn more about us. And you can follow us also on Instagram, as everyone knows. Um, and that's where you can also go to sign up, or you can send us a message on Instagram. And for anyone who's listening, obviously the first 3 months are free, and up to your whole first year can be free if you kind of join our Fab Five partnership program, which is all about, essentially coming to me with everything that you wish would be easier about your life, and then giving me time and patience to figure out how to do it.
I may commission you to make me an AI boyfriend if I decide to start dating again someday.
Robots are getting pretty good at reading emotions in text, but like they need to learn how to read memes because we communicate in memes a lot. So, but when we get there, I'll let you know if you're still interested. Maybe just an AI, virtual animal.
Yes, amazing. Thank you for that. So you guys take advantage of that and any little tiny sneak peeks of like new features, brainchilds, anything that is going to be coming with Chronos Beauty.
Lots of new things are coming, but so I'll just pick out probably the two that I think all of the Fab Five are the most excited about. So one is just integrating with more of your calendars, because I know all of our lives are kind of like spread out on different calendars, often maybe on your phone calendar or work calendar, to just try to get everything integrated in and combine that with your preferences. So similar to things like the processing time, you might not want to have two specific clients on the same day because they wear you out. You might not want to have two color corrections back to back, and all of these little things that you would tell a personal assistant, so that really Chronos understands your full availability, even your personal life. So we all know, you forget to do blackout times, or things happen. Your life is busy and your calendar is money. So just getting Chronos to another level of managing all of your preferences and limits. Because I just know this past year I've heard so many conversations about setting boundaries. Similar to the cancellation policy, it's like just tell the robot what your boundaries are and then let the robot manage your boundaries. So yeah, we're happy, of course, to offer anyone who's listening in and anyone who supports and is getting value from you and Ambrosia and the Successful Stylist Academy, with your first 3 months free and a white glove, onboarding. And for those who are interested in a more of a partnership, there's always a chance to kind of, well, like we said, new energy, right? This is very much for us. If you're helping us improve the product, for thousands of other people, then we're happy for you to just kind of, have things for free. Sometimes that's super nice, right? And then the second one for the clients, because I think we all know that it's best to pre-book, but some of us, myself included, I'm like, I don't even know what country I'm going to be in a month. There's no way I could schedule a time. So this version will essentially kind of allow each client to have their standard time between appointments, and then if they're not booked, Kronos will message them and remind them and try to keep them booked. That way, you're not missing out on a lot of lost revenue from the clients you already have because they're not coming. So you know how this is. You miss a week or two. A lot of you are super busy, and suddenly you could, have weeks before the client can get back in. When Kronos can just get ahead of that and keep your clients coming regularly. Um, so yeah, those are probably the things I'm the most excited about.
Yeah, mind blown. I don't understand it, but brilliant. Super, super exciting. So you guys take advantage. Visit Chronos Beauty. They're on all social media platforms as well. So just take a peek at the amazing things that are happening and just set yourself up for success within your business. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt. I really, really appreciate it. And all of our listeners, I know that you're that your time and your attention is one of the most valuable things that you have. So we really, really appreciate you spending some of it hanging out with us. Please join Ambrosia next week. She's going to have Lexi Lomax on planning around your beauty business. So be sure and tune in for that. And we will look forward to talking with you all soon.